She picked Serena. And who am I? That's not a secret I'll never tell. You know you love me. XOXO. Gossip Girl.
What's up? We got Gossip Girl Season 6, Episode 1, Gone and Maybe Gone. This episode starts off with four months before where we are now. In the beginning of summer, Blair and Chuck were in love and sleeping together. In Monte Carlo, Dan and Georgina are in Monte Carlo. Dan and Georgina are in Italy, so he can write his book on the Upper East Side on a typewriter in solitude. Nate's trying to find a lead on the video Diana sent him, and Serena is passed out on a train. In the present, in where we are at now, Serena, Blair, and Lily and Bart arrive back at the penthouse after spending the summer traveling and renewing their vows. Vanya asks if they heard from Chuck, and Lily hopes he used his summer to relax. Vanya remarks that she can see how happy Bart and Lily are. Their family and their happy family won't be far behind. Bart Meredith isn't so sure and follows Lily to the dining table with the entire summer worth of mail. She asks Vanya where Serena is since she's supposed to be taking care of the apartment, but he says he hasn't heard from Serena all summer. And she goes to Serena's room, which is completely packed up and filled with boxes. At the Spectator, Nate is being interviewed by this random girl, and she tells him that she thinks he's brave and risking everything for the paper. He replies that he wouldn't be going in alone if he hadn't come succeed. He has a story coming that will succeed of the future. He then receives a call from Lily asking where Serena is. He tells her that he hasn't seen or heard from Serena all summer, but also assures that she's disappeared like this before, but always comes back. In Paris, Blair is on the phone with Eleanor, trying to convince her that she's aware of the deadline and is perfectly capable of running a company. A man named Jean-Pierre arrives and sits down with Blair. She hangs up from Eleanor and gets a text from Nate explaining the Serena situation. She admits to Jean-Pierre that the last time she spoke to Serena is when she kicked her out of her apartment, and he books her a ticket back to New York to be there for her friend. In Italy, Georgina is reading Dan's draft and asks if it's true that Serena recorded them sleeping together and recorded them having a sex tape. And he inquires they actually saw her erase the tape. His phone begins to ring and Dan's pretty sure she erased it. Georgina realizes it might still have, and then answers the phone for him. It's Blair. She actually reveals to Georgina that Serena is missing, and she basically hangs up on Blair, which was hilarious. And informs Dan that the book will have a new ending if they can find Serena before anyone else does. In Dubai, Chuck is meeting with a woman named Amira in his last hotel Bart worked at before he fake died, which is what Chuck says himself. Bart fake died. And then the time that he lied about being in Miami. Amira says that she was his translator and told Chuck everything she knows. Chuck replies that he's been through all Bass Industries books, but found nothing about a project in Dubai. Their conversation is interrupted by Georgina calling about Serena. At the Spectator, Nate messages Gossip Girl to ask where she knows Serena. And Gossip Girl replies that, yeah, Serena Vanderwoodson is dead. At least to her. Oh. Chuck returns to New York along with Amira and shows up at the Vanderwoodson must delay. He introduces Amira to Lily. When Bart comes in, he introduces her, obviously not obviously trying to fake that he doesn't know this girl, which he does. He hopes Serena with Chuck's summer was relaxing. Chuck says it was, and that Dubai many links to the past. Blair then shows up with Jean-Pierre, Bart and Lily and John Michael. I mean, yeah, Jean-Pierre, they all take off, leaving Chuck and Blair alone. In a car, Dan and Georgina are also back in New York. Georgina reveals that she texted Damien and found out Serena brought jugs for him from one of his guys on a train and head to Poughkeepsie. She says that Poughkeepsie is known for 3 things, and since Serena isn't going to visit her or culinary institute, she's more likely a mental institution there. Back at the Vanderwoods, Dan and Chuck swear to each other that there's nothing going on with anyone else. Chuck explains that Amir is his weapon against Bart, and they work together on an off-record project. He finishes by saying they brought her home to rattle Bart. Bart explains that Jean-Pierre is the head of her public relations and that focusing on work makes it easier to be away from Chuck. They mentioned that they had to come to an agreement in Monte Carlo or else they would still be there. That they're still dedicated to being together in the future. At the log, Lily arrives to see Rufus. She asks if she's seen Serena, and Rufus says he hasn't, and that Dan's in Italy and probably hasn't either. She spots a woman's sweater on the couch and soon accuses Rufus of lying to her, and Rufus says it's Serena. Then it's revealed that Ivy has been it's actually Ivy. It's because Ivy has been living with Rufus. Yeah, Ivy's been living with Rufus. He explains that Ivy is staying there. She offers Lily some water, which she says no to, and she explains that Rufus saved her after she tore up Lily's check. Of course, we all know that he didn't. We all know that she's just using Rufus in her plan to take down Lily. But still, we all know that Rufus didn't save her. She's just using him as a way to get back at Lily. So, I wonder how Lily and Lola's plan is going to come into fruition from last season, where they made an agreement to take down Lily as long as Ivy got that money. But now she's living with Rufus. She's obviously manipulating him. So yeah, she says that she doesn't know what she thought why Serena would go to Rufus and leave. At the Vanderwoodsons, Chuck, Nate, and Blair are going through Serena's boxes. They find nothing, and Serena's life was on her phone, which is the only thing she had. Blair mentions that the last obstacle post was on Serena in spring when she moved out. Nate said when Blair kicked her out. Nate says that just because she isn't posting doesn't mean that she doesn't know. And he already tried asking her and struck out. Blair admits that she hurt Serena when she kicked her out, and Chuck encouraged Nate to play any cards he might have. He goes to comfort Blair, and Nate texts Scottsboro blackmailing her with either she helps him find Serena, or he'll expose that Diana recorded them getting the laptop back. At the loft, Ivy and Rufus are going over plans to decorating a new potential art gallery. She notices he isn't paying any attention, and even he says that Earth to Rufus is a really good name. Really good album name. And she realizes that Louie's visit upset him. She offers to call the realtor and pick up the keys to the new place. She urges him to help her find Serena. He takes off her offer, realizing that, yeah, he was Serena's dad for a while, so he should go help find her. When he leaves, once he's gone, Ivy leaves a message for Lola saying that, yeah, basically manipulating Rufus is easy to she leaves a message for Lola, who doesn't show up in this episode, that Rufus is easy to manipulate. At the gas station, Chuck, Nate, and Blair pause for the way of the address provided by Gossip Girl. Chuck asks Nate how he's sure he's not being led on a wild goose chase, and he confesses he gave up his one upper hand, the video. Blair's surprised knowing that was a perfect way to relaunch the paper, and Nate says that it was worth it if it helps Serena. They leave. Meanwhile, Georgina and Blair are talking when she spots Chuck's limo. And she realizes that it's Chuck's limo because she memorized his license plate. She takes off, and Dan tries to stop her, tells him to get in, and he gets into an already moving vehicle, which is dangerous. I guess she wasn't going to stop, but still, getting into a moving vehicle is dangerous. In the limo, Nate says it looks like the head floor is really off the map. They turn into a dirt road and were almost hit by Georgina's van. They all emerge from the vehicle to follow a trail. Georgina says to follow them, and she says, of course, Georgina is there, and of course, why is Dan with her? And almost hit, yeah. They ring the doorbell and ask for Serena. A maid answers, and they think, and she's like, oh, don't you mean Sabrina? And they all know that then Serena is going by Sabrina, she's going by the book character that Dan named, the name that Dan named her in the inside book. So, in Dan's book. Yeah, she demands to know what they're doing there, and they all give various answers. She says they're not invited to the party, and Steven Spence then enters the room. He refers to Serena as Sabrina. He says, Sabrina, who are these people? And he introduces himself and offers to let them stay to celebrate the special day. At the Vanderwoodsons, Rufus and Lily are talking. She confesses she can't believe she went all summer without actually talking to Serena, and Rufus assures her that wasn't her fault. In the middle of apologizing, she assumes he's doing everything with Ivy when she apologized for assuming what he was doing with Ivy. What he was doing with Ivy when Ivy arrived. She announces that they got the gallery and she's too excited to wait. Lily tells Rufus that she can't believe he set her up, and he leaves. Ivy tells her that she's starting to get that Lily's starting to get pronounced frown line, and also leave. Meanwhile, Dan, Georgina, Blair, and Nate realize that they crashed a wedding, most likely Serena's, and they decide to make a plan to put a stop to it. Nate offers to call Lily and say that Serena's fine. Chuck offers to call the Ostrov Center in case they need to commit her, and Blair suggests that she and Dan try to get through to Serena. Dan tells Blair to find Serena on her own, and he was only dragged along by Georgina. Blair slaps him and asks him what's wrong with him. He said he doesn't know Blair an explanation since he chose Chuck over him and walks away. At the Empire, Bart arrives to see Amira. Bart asks if he's using her, Bart asks if Chuck's using Amira or if she's using Chuck, and she better not reveal anything. Amira taunts him, saying that Chuck may be able to persuade her to reveal something, but Bart says what she wants to leave town in silence and asks for $10 million. Back at the wedding, Steven asks Sabrina if her friends are from Vassar or Wisconsin. She says they're from Wisconsin and apologizes for not telling them they were coming. He assures her that it's fine and takes off, checks him saying. Dan overhears and asks if she even knows where Wisconsin is. He asks, Wisconsin? She replies that she knows, he never wants, all she knows is that he told her he never wanted to see her again, and he just showed up on one special day when she's finally happy. He tells her that she hopes she doesn't marry him, and it wouldn't be exactly the kind of attention stunt she would pull. She then slaps him, but then confusedly repeats the part when Dan says she's marrying him. Also, Blair tells Chuck that he didn't find Serena, but maybe Dan did. Chuck informs her that he called the Ostrov Center, but it's not the Ostrov Center anymore. It's actually the Pizza Whiz Institute. Yeah, they basically changed the name of basically they now changed the Ostrov Center name. But now they're on alert. They are on an alert. Georgina and Nate come back, and she announces that she snooped through Serena's things and found something interesting. Dan and Serena emerge. Steven calls for her on stage. He's about to give a toast when Dan comes over, ready to explain what he learned when he's interrupted by Blair. She ends up on stage, followed by Georgina, and announces Sabrina's real identity as Serena, and that they both share that they're committing her to a psychiatric facility and has a history of drugs and promiscuity. Serena's like, oh my god, just kill her now. Like, that was hilarious. She's like, just please kill her now. And Dan tells Nate that Chuck's like, that's what he was trying to explain. That Serena, then At the top of the stairs, two men in similar matching hats demand to know what's going on, and Dan tells them, yeah, guys, I was trying to tell you, Serena isn't one getting married. In the house, Steven demands to know why her friends are ruining David and David's wedding. Again, why have two guys named David? How'd you even know which one of them are getting married when they have the exact same first name? Georgina announces that she has proof of Serena on drugs and produces a bag of pills. Snape explains that they're vitamins, and Serena says that Steven's company makes them. Chuck apologizes, recognizing him as a Tech Talk conference, and I think they mentioned this in season 1, episode 3, about him hosting a TED Talk once. Serena explains that she left because Blair kicked her out. Dan said he never wanted to see her again, and she never heard from Chuck or Nate. She said that she basically was on drugs, and she basically had to be revived by paramedics. So she's pretended to be someone else. So she just basically pretended to be someone else. So she basically just wanted to get a new life and pretend to be someone else. She walks off, followed by Blair and Dan. On her way out, Dan stops Blair and says he can't believe her. He rants about how he lost her idea, how she's not in love with Chuck, she's in love with the idea of him, and that all they have is excuses on why they're not together. Blair walks away and finds Serena. At the law, Ivy comes home and she apologizes for him walking on them and tells Rufus that she's glad he got away from Lily. Rufus asks if she thinks so low of Lily, how come it was so important to get close to her. And yeah, how is it so important to get close to her? Ivy answers that she knows now. Lily isn't the one she wants to be close with, and she slowly approaches Rufus and kisses him, which is absolutely disgusting. Not mentioning that she did pretend to be his niece once, but 2, he's literally older than her. How is he? Like 40, 43, and she's like, 20 or 30? This is gross, Gossip Girl writers. This is Arya and Ezra levels of disgusting. This is Arya and Ezra levels of disgusting. Why are you trying to promote this? This is a terrible relationship. They're like underage. I guess, of course, this is not Rufus' fault. Ivy's just trying to manipulate him to get him into his life so she can use him as ignition to take down Lily. But still, gross that she's dating him to get back at Lily. Back at the wedding, Blair finds Serena outside. She apologizes and thinking that she made her regret everything she did to her. Serena thanks her but says that she doesn't want to be stuck with Blair and wants a fresh start. Blair says she can stay there then, but she gets Manhattan. She tells Serena to have a nice life and leaves. In the limo on the way home, Blair asks if the pack is a way to avoid being together, and Chuck says that she wants time to grow. He says not much longer until they can finally get there forever. He asks Arthur to pull over and tells Blair they need to get off. Well, gets out, Blair finds the engagement ring which is hanging finds the engagement ring which is hanging around his neck. At the Spectator, Nate tears down the prototype article exposing Gossip Girl when he gets the message from her. She says it's ironic that he traded the future for his friend who didn't even want to come home. He asks if she knew all along, and she says that all she says is that she'll never tell. Then the girl from earlier enters and says that the girl from the first says she explains that she noticed his light was on and asks him out for a drink. He agrees to, with her admitting that he had a bad day on his big story. Meanwhile, Steven and Serena arrive at the Vanderwoodens, and she says that she forgot how much she missed it, and that New York has never seemed more perfect than right now, and kisses him. At the Empire, Chuck arrives home and finds them near waiting with a briefcase filled with $10 million in cash. She swears that she didn't know his secret, but she's willing to stick around to find out what it is. At that law, Georgina and Dan arrive. She swears that she'll get her hands on Serena's phone to extort the sex tape, but he asks why he followed her to the door since he's not kissing her goodnight. She believes things she'll call him tomorrow. When he enters the loft, he discovers When he enters, he is horrified to discover Ivy and Rufus naked together, wrapped in a blanket on the floor. Realizing that they're dating, he's just like, okay, I'm out of here. And that's where the episode ends. So, yeah, we're on the final season of the show. Sad, this show only got 10 episodes. Why? And this season only has 10 episodes. Why? And again, we're on the final season of Gossip Girl, and I'm really excited what's happening. Current story is Ivy is manipulating Rufus to get back at Lily in her and Ivy's revenge plot of getting back at Lily for manipulating the event and putting Carol in prison, so she's using Rufus to do it. Okay. Serena's dating this guy named Steven Spence, I guess. Chuck and Dan got slapped twice this episode, and when he was talking to Serena, his hair changed from one side to the other. Really weird. And this episode, that Georgina's actress gets as Georgina Sparks in the credits. She usually just gets Michelle Teschenberg, but this time she gets Mattel and Michelle Teschenberg as Georgina Sparks in the credits. So I guess Georgina's going to play a bigger plot in the story now, in the final season? What? Why is now they're basically going to give Georgina a bigger plot line? Why not in earlier seasons? Why is it now in the final season of the show that Georgina gets the big plot line? That Georgina gets this big plot line and even gets it as Michelle Teschenberg gets it as Georgina Sparks credit now instead of just Michelle Teschenberg. But anyway, that's it for this video. And I'll see you next time for Season 6, Episode 2, High Infidelity. Yeah, you love me. XOXO, Gossip Girl. Let's prepare for this final season, everyone, as we watch these last 10 episodes of Gossip Girl. Really sad, and I wonder why they only made 10 episodes. If you count episode 11, which is basically just the characters saying goodbye to the show, it's not an episode, it's just the cast and crew saying goodbye to this beautiful show. But anyway, yeah. That's it for this video, and I'll see you next time for Season 6, Episode 2, High Infidelity. You know you love me. XOXO, Gossip Girl. Sad we did not get Icon Dorota in this premiere. See you next time.